Hi, welcome to another very great edition of Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. As always, I'm very excited, very happy to have you here. Thank you very much for choosing me. Thank you very much for subscribing to the channel and turning on your notification. I mean, if you are new to the channel, I want you to subscribe to the channel, turn on notification, and when you do turn on notification, make sure you do choose all. It's a football tactical analysis for every team in there. We do a lot of the analysis here for you. So stick and stay. Don't go nowhere. Let's do the analysis. Let's talk to you. Today, there are lots of showdowns. There are lots to load down. There's a lot to unpack for you. There is my analysis of Manchester United and the things I've been seeing for the very last few months and years and everything that seems to be coming together under Erik ten Hag and Manchester United. We'll delve deeply into that. We will also talk about Chelsea's total capitulation against against the Liverpool yesterday. This time, the nitty gritties, the details of the game, how the Chelsea failed to build up, where were the pressures, everything that we ought to talk about in those games. I'll lay them down. We'll talk about it. We'll dig into the tactical analysis here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. We'll talk about why Chelsea are letting Amanda Broya to leave and why they think that they just want to make sure they get some more cash for Victor Oshimen in the summer. Then quite away from that, we'll talk about Real Madrid's game that they played today. Of course, to start the whole conversation, we are going to preview the African Cup of Nations on this channel. So, like I said, if you've not subscribed to the channel, you ought to subscribe to the channel. If you have, thank you very much for choosing me, Fiifi-Manfred, on YouTube. I am grateful for your time, for everything that you do. Let's get straight into our AFCON moment and then making sure that we go into the AFCON conversation. So tomorrow, the first set of quarterfinal games are going to go on, and it's two games that are going to be mouth-watering. First of all, there's going to be Cabo Verde versus Guinea, and this is a game of seemingly equals. DR Congo, sorry, a game that you think that is it's an equal pair. You look at the quality of DR Congo, it's not too wide from what the Guineans will give you. But both teams have had similar trajectory to where they are now. Lost some games, drew some games. They've gone into the competition thus far. And I'll start with DR Congo. I think I've loved DR Congo's job in the competition, especially that game that they played against Morocco, and and taking the game to the Moroccans and getting the result, although it was a draw. It kept them in the competition. Then they come into the round of 16, they miss the Egyptians. Very tough customers. The Egyptians are one hell of a team, but they beat them to the tactical and the physical battle, go into extra time and then penalties. Then they end up beating them. And I think I love the defensive solidity of the DRC and the fact that given their trajectory, they tend to stick together. They are going to have a common goal to fight for. They've done it against the Moroccans, they've done it against the Egyptians, and then now it's the Guineans that stand in front of them. It's a tough call, but Chancellor Mbembe's team seem to be very ready for such a game. And I think that tomorrow the DRC will get a job, especially they're going to have Gael Kakuta back into the middle of the park. And then they have all of these guys, Atama Soaku, who missed his penalty the last time. And then, of course, Johan Wissa, excellent player, to also join the four in the team. It's a game that's going to be much watching. You don't want to miss it for anything. Again, the Guineans have been good. I like the way the Guineans have managed Naby Keita and what he gives to them. He doesn't necessarily start games, but anytime he comes in, they get exactly what they want for him. They give him the game time, the 20-30 minutes, to dictate the pace of the game, to throw the passes around. And Seho Gohasi has also been very good. And you would hope that the Guineans can also build. But I just think that at the end of the day, the DRC are just too much of a quality side if you compare them to the Guineans. And I think that the DRC are going to go through. Then there's the big one. Nigeria have had a beautiful tournament trajectory, and it happened in 2013 when they won the competition. First two draws, won the last game, they qualified, went on to beat people. Mind you, they were in the same group with the eventual winners, eventual finalists like themselves in Burkina Faso. Again, this time, they are with the host nation Ivory Coast, draw the first game, managed to win the second game closely, win the last one emphatically. Then they are going into the competition. And it looks as if Nigeria are exactly where they want to be in terms of how they play their football. They played in a four-back when the competition started in that first game against Equatorial Guinea. They switched it to go and play in a three-at-the-back system. That was working. Calvin Bassey, Sia Ajayi, William Trostekon, Zaida Sanusi, Ola Aina, Yusuf, Kenneth Omero in the middle of the pack. Excellent, excellent team. They essentially just limit you from creating quality chances against them. In the game that they played against first of all, Equatorial Guinea just had one chance on target. La Cote d'Ivoire had just one shot on target. Cameroon had no shot on target. Guinea had just one shot on target. I mean, it is just the numbers to describe the sheer quality in Nigerians' defense and the fact that they prevent you from creating quality chance against them to even think of making sure that you get goals. But they are coming against a two center forward pair in Gelson Dala and then of course Imbolulu, who make things happen, who retain the ball, who manipulates the ball in tight spaces, and then just make something happen out of nothing. These are top attackers, and you would think that this is going to be a mouth-watering one. So that's it by way of the African Cup of Nations preview. In there tomorrow, there are going to be two big games, like we said, and we'll talk about all of that. We're talking about it, giving analysis. Of course, DRC is going to qualify tomorrow, and then same for Nigeria in that round of 16 quarterfinals, actually, in African Cup of Nations. And then, boy, so Madrid were very, very good today, played an excellent game today. And you see, I keep on saying when Madrid just finds a way to win games, and it's not even funny. If you watch Madrid games, if you watch how they play in recent times, and when they go home or away, they just find ways to play and then get a job done. Today, it wasn't Jude Bellingham, it wasn't Vinicius Jr., it wasn't even Rodrigo Goes, and neither was it Modric, Cruz, or anybody. It was just someone that was brought on to come and give them some goals in their team, and he has done exactly that. And that's the man Joselu. Joselu has done a brilliant job for Madrid, and today he got two important goals for them. When you are going to play a game like this against Getafe, you know that in this game, this is a team that will sit in that 4-4-2 mid block and make it very hard for you to play through them. And Getafe is just a characteristic team from all the teams that you know that plays in the four at the backs, the 4-2-2. Without the ball, they are very compact. They add a lot of bite and pressure into games. They prevent you from playing through them. And Madrid are just too good in terms of making things happen, even regardless of the team that they come across, even regardless of the system. Because one of the ways to stop a 4-1-2-1-2, which Madrid plays most of the times, is playing 4-4-2, where you have a lot of numbers in the middle of the pack. You deal with how they want to overload you essentially, and then you make sure that you create quality chances against them. Madrid still stuck with the 4-1-2-1-2, having Oshimen at the base, Federico Valverde, and then Luka Modric on the left hand side, Jude Bellingham at the tip of the diamond. Then of course there's Vinicius Jr. and Joselu, and it's just the hold up play of Vinicius Jr. when he goes wide. The fact that opens up a lot of spaces for Joselu to attack, and Madrid are just in the right place at the right time. They grind results, they get a job done, they go ahead, and then they win games, and that's exactly what they're doing. Winning after winning after winning after winning, whilst the other arch rivals, Barcelona, struggle elsewhere. I know that this Madrid team is an exceptional team, and then they will go places. And I mean, this is the second round of the season just started. It looks as if they're just going to win the Spanish La Liga this time, and no matter what happens, there is no way Barca or even Girona can stop them as it stands now. And it's brilliant stuff. The Champions is also going to come on in this February, so you know that a lot of games are going to come in thick and fast. Now they need almost every player fit. Carlo Ancelotti exceptional that he returned to the competition that he lost to playing. Let's see how Madrid fare in those competitions, and that is it. I mean, quite apart from that today, there was also Wolves versus Manchester United, and what a game this was. But see, first of all, I've said it several times. I don't think Eric Ten Hag is a bad manager, to be very honest with you. Ten Hag isn't a bad manager. In fact, I think that he's a good manager. Man United's problem is just a team, not just a team building. It's a club building. It's a club restructuring process where you need more than just a manager. Sometimes you just need to be more patient for your manager. You need to calm down. You don't necessarily have to put them under a lot of pressure and expect them to deliver day in, day out for you. And especially when United were also met with some injuries left, right, and center, it was always going to be difficult. You understand? And when you're going away to Molineux, to play against Gary O'Neill's side. You know they are going to play against a team that will never stop coming, even when they are down. They'll still keep on pushing. They'll still make sure that at the end of the day they come and they fight for something. And I wasn't shocked when the game ended up at some point at 3-3 when Neto got that goal in 90 plus in the 90 plus fifth minute of added time. It was just something else. But that is typical. That's very typical of Gary O'Neill's teams and then Wolverhampton Wanderers. Kelman was in there. I mean, United were cruising until Wolverhampton Wanderers came in and then changed the whole dimension of the game. That penalty on Pablo Sarabia was also a very, very important one. But the job of this United team, so you see, you go back, and once Wolves were playing in a 3 at the back, 3-4-3 or 3-5-2, anyhow you want to see. For me, the biggest thing that United did in able to deal with them was the players that played out from the back. Martinez's inclusion in the team helped United to build up. It made them very comfortable in building up from the back and playing through central areas. Luke Shaw was also excellent. I've told you that Manchester United are one of the best build-up teams from the left-hand side. Of course, because of Luke Shaw, Diogo Dalot added a lot more. And in the middle of the back, there was more of a shield in Casemiro and a more technical midfielder who controls the pace of the game in Kobe Mainoo. And in there, of course, Alejandro Garnacho, Bruno Fernandes, and then Rashford, and then of course Rasmus Hojlund up top. Two of them got the first 2 goals for the team. And you see, even if United are drawn, I would have still said what I'm going to say. The difference between United and Chelsea is just simple. It's the characters in the team. It's the characters of guys like Casemiro, have seen it all. Varane has seen it all. Bruno Fernandes, who pushes the team to deliver and then gets results, whilst they essentially struggle, other teams struggle to get results. And like Chelsea, I mean, you don't have the characters that can push the boys to do what they have to do. And I think that I mean, thumbs up to Eric Ten Hag and the job that he has done, especially in this one. But that goal from Kobe Mainoo essentially was brilliant stuff. It was a brilliant goal from Kobe Mainoo. Kobe Mainoo is a top chap. He has shown time and time again how much of a good player that he is, and then he showed it again today. He moves Manchester United to 35 points and 7th place, 4 points away from Chelsea, and then of course 2.3 points away from Newcastle United. And their next game is also a big one for them. They know that they ought to make sure that they keep on getting the wins in there. You look at them, teams like West Ham United, Newcastle, and you know that United just need some consistent wins, and then they are going to be fine. God. So, see, if you didn't watch Chelsea's game yesterday against Liverpool, don't bother watching it. And here is why. If you didn't watch Chelsea's game against Liverpool, don't bother watching it. Again, if you did not see that Manchester United game against Wolverhampton Wanderers and you want a proper juxtaposition, yes, stay. Let's do the analysis right now. But see, Chelsea were bad. Like, proper bad. Build up. Chelsea had played at Stamford Bridge against Manchester City, against Arsenal, against Liverpool. 2 of the biggest games. And in these 2 games, Pochettino actually brought in an excellent build-up plan to make sure that he creates chances for his teams, where Enzo Fernandez will always be on the left-hand channel to receive from there. It made build-up so easy. The left back will push up. And it looked as if, in my opinion, against Liverpool, Poch wanted to implement a new style of play where Enzo Fernandez will just help in the first phase of build-up and then vacate central area, then go and join the last line. Then Raheem Sterling would want to run in behind. And in annotation I'm showing you, that's exactly what Chelsea were trying to do. You build up quickly, Enzo goes into the last line like a CAM, like a CF, then Sterling tries to get in behind. I mean, who does that? I mean, whatever the plan was, it failed. And I'll walk you through the various processes of the game where I felt was wrong from Mauricio Pochettino, and then he feeling woefully in all of those ones. First of all, just before we even talk about the tactics, Chelsea essentially are letting Armando Broja to go on loan because they want him to get more game time. Again, it is also because that they think that after his injury, he needs more game time, he needs to be sharp and fitter to play, whilst Nicola Jackson becomes the main outright man for Cole Palmer to be like a second striker sometimes. Now that Nkunku has recovered, they think that that's the best one for them. I think that's a good one for Armando Broja. He gets to play a lot more games. They have reduced loan fee. I mean Fulham, just because Broja will get to play more games for them, and it's a smart one for Chelsea. We are going to give you Broja, but at less loan fee because we want him to play a threshold of games, and I think that's a smart. Nkunku is back unless Nkunku's injury surfaces. It looks as if he's going to play. Nicholas Jackson is just flying back to England after the elimination of his team, Senegal in African Cup of Nations. So Chelsea look like they're going to bank their home hopes on these three people in Nkunku, Nicholas Jackson, and then Cole Palmer in these games going forward into the rest of the season. But hey, let's talk tactics. Let's go back into that game that Liverpool played against Chelsea. First of all, Liverpool have a lot of dwellers in their team. And I've explained dwellers here. Players that love to go into battles. And when they go into battles, they don't lose those battles. They step in. There were times when you see Konate follow Cole Palmer to central areas. They are very aggressive. And if Pochettino had a plan to get Sterling in behind and then stick with our defense, then that was wrong. Now, we'll look at the various components of the game that we played yesterday against Liverpool. First of all, our build-up. One of the best games that Chelsea has played is when Enzo Fernandez on the left-hand channel and Chelsea build up from there. One, it helps the numbers game. Chelsea have better numbers or even more numbers than the teams in Central. Even when it's equal, because of technical quality of Enzo Fernandez, they're able to play through those zones. Then, in this game, Enzo Fernandez vacates central areas almost every time. Sometimes he comes to help Moise Caicedo with just 1-2 touches and then leaves and then goes to occupy between the house piece. It was so bad. And you see, Enzo have done it for so many times that I think that's a coaching instruction. Because I don't think if it was something that he wasn't meant to do, then there was something that Pochettino had to tell him to stop. Again, I don't know how Chelsea had a very high line, but could not apply any form of pressure from the top. They were not pressuring. They were just sit back. You have a high line, but then the pressure from the attackers weren't coming. And I saw guys like Noni Madueke lose battles. They were just like a daisy cow. Same for Sterling. I mean, if you're going to have a very high line, if you're going to play very, very high, then you need to press. You need to have high pressure from up top so that the balls don't get in behind you. So you don't isolate your center back to 1v1. But Chelsea failed at this woefully. Woefully, you watch the game again and realize that this is such a team that failed at what it did. Anytime Pochettino sends Enzo further forward and Caicedo is isolated, you realize that he loses the battles, the central areas a lot. A lot of the times he did. A lot of the times he did in this game that Chelsea played against Liverpool yesterday. And I kept on asking myself, what's going on? And I said it several times. Our best build-up was against City and Arsenal. The way we used Enzo in the build-up from the press was excellent, especially on the left-hand side. And we pushed Marco Correa as an extra centre back. I think it was exceptional. It was exceptional how we played that game. Maybe it's because Marco Correa was lost in this game. But without the ball, our pressure on the ball was non-existent. Once we had a highline, again in build-up, we used Enzo wrongly. I mean, I keep on saying we. Chelsea used Enzo Fernandez wrongly. And they just couldn't get a grip of that game. And Liverpool ended up playing some excellent stuff. Chelsea has a big game against Wolves. Wolves have just lost against Manchester United. They are not going to make it easy for anyone. They are not going to make it easy. It's going to be a really, really, really difficult game. A really difficult game at the Stamford Bridge. And they need to get results now. I mean, I don't think that it's essentially a bad project after just one loss in the project. I have questions about Mauricio Pochettino and his tactical acumen. I do. Tactically, I think Mauricio Pochettino isn't there. But it's about the general management of teams. It's about how well the team is doing generally with the injuries and everything. Has he peppered over the cracks? Was it the recruitment that was shambolic? What was the real issue for Chelsea? Is it just the issue of Mauricio Pochettino or there is more? How can the club deal with this? I mean, all of these things will come together. But hey, Barca has been fantastic in the last game Arsenal got a job done. Tottenham Hotspur got a job done. Real Madrid got a job done. Manchester United have done a brilliant job in the Italian Serie A. Internationally, Milan are doing such a great job. Chelsea need to wake up and get some stuff done, get things right as it stands now. This is where we draw the curtain on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. Thank you very much for always tuning in. I'll see you. Bye bye.